Shirley Winter Show, live, local, topical, and relevant. So you guys know, if you're a listener to this show for a long time, you know that I'm a huge fan of RFK Jr. Let me first tell you why I'm a huge fan of RFK Jr., okay? I'm a huge fan of RFK Jr. because he's another bull in the china shop, right? He's another disruptor. He's there to disrupt. He's there to go against the status quo. He's there to question everything. And I like people like that. And they throw the slings and arrows at him. They went after him through his wife. They went after him through this Olivia Nuzzi, who, by the way, just got fired from her job. Good for her. Good for them for firing her. They should have. How do you release text messages of a guy? It's just sick. Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress. But I'm a huge fan of RFK Jr. So let me tell you what happened today. I'm going to read to you. Advisors to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, voted 8-3 Friday to recommend that a mother without, listen to this, please, it's very important. Advisors to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, voted 8-3 today to recommend that a mother without hepatitis B consult with a physician, and if she decides to vaccinate against the virus, delay the first dose from the first day of life to 2 months. What is wrong with that? Please, someone help me. If the mother doesn't have the HEP B virus, why should you inject a baby with a vaccine the first day of life that the mother doesn't even have? Why do that? And guess what? 24 other high-income nations in the West all recommend the first dose at 2 months old. We're the only ones that was doing it upon birth. And now the world is coming to the it's the end of the world. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Look what he's doing, oh my God. I'm thinking to myself, if the mother, the intended purpose of this was babies could get the Hep B virus from the mother, but if she doesn't have it, how can they get it? So why is it necessary to give the baby upon birth, the first day of life, a vaccine? It doesn't make any sense. And all they said, they voted 8-3 today to recommend that a mother without hepatitis B, which means if the mother has the hepatitis B virus or in her system, give it to the baby. But if she doesn't, consult with her doctor. And if she decides to vaccinate against the virus, wait till the baby is 2 months old. No one's wiping it away. No one's taking it away. It is in no way upending the whole vaccine schedule. I mean, it's just nuts. And 24 other nations, most of them high-income nations, don't do it on the day of first day of life. So why do we? This is what's fascinating to me about this whole thing with RFK Jr. Here's what's fascinating. What's fascinating to me is that I'm old enough to remember, particularly in the Democratic community, and more specifically in the African-American community, where vaccines were questioned all the time. I remember. You sit in barbershops. I've sat in barbershops since I was 7 years old. I remember new fathers in the barbershops as I turned 20, 25, and 30 saying, wow, I didn't have to take as many vaccines that my baby has to take now. I'm worried. I heard these conversations. I heard them from friends. They're up to 40 vaccines. They're up to 60 vaccines. Why so many? And anybody that did not talk like this, you're lying now. You're lying. You're a bold-faced liar. Now, all of a sudden, you just, trust the science. Trust the science. What? Let me get this straight. And now I'm talking specifically to my African American listeners. Let me get this straight. Let me figure this out. I'm going to speak it out so maybe I can understand it. We live in a country that many of you believe is white supremacist and racist. Many of you believe this. I hear it all the time. Shelley, you're an Uncle Tom and a coon and all this stuff. You want proximity to white supremacy? This is what I hear. So you think the country is white supremacist and racist. You run on every year that the medical establishment is racist as well. You tell me the numbers. Black woman has more likelihood of dying in childbirth because of doctor. You should have black doctors. This is what I hear all the time. You live in a country that you believe has hated you because of the color of your skin since the 1600s. And it continues to today. This is what you believe. I mean, I hear it. I see it all the time. I see people on CNN all the time call everything racism. Redistricting is racist. Voting, needing ID to vote is racist. Deporting people is racist. Everything is racist. Except now. Except, the vaccines they give us to put in our babies. Well, we got to believe that. Inject away, Mr. White Supremacist Racist Country, medical establishment. Inject away. It absolutely, positively makes no sense to me. I question everything. I question whether these boats have drugs on them, whether these are drug traffickers. I question that. I question whether this guy that they just caught after 5 years and lived in Woodbridge, Virginia, really did it. I question everything. I don't question just the left. I question the right and the left and the government and everybody. I meet with my program director every Monday at 4 p.m. He says something to me about something, and I question that. And we work it out back and forth. We talk and say, okay, I get it now. But my first instinct is to question everything. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, my grandmother, I used to eat at the kitchen table in my grandmother's house, and the stove was in the kitchen. I had to eat at the kitchen table. Could not get up till I finished eating. One day she was cooking food for my grandfather. She left the kitchen. She said, Shelley, do not leave that seat and go by that stove. The fire is on. She walked through the door. I got up from my table, looked around, walked over to the fire and looked very closely at it to see where the fire was coming from. And ran back to my chair to sit down before she came back. I questioned everything since I was a small child. They told me Christmas, Jesus was born in a manger with the animals and the three kings. And I looked around and I tried to figure out how that was possible. I questioned everything. You're going to tell me now that you believe everything is racist. Everything is racist. Republicans are racist. America's racist. It always has been. White people are racist. Hispanics are racist who voted for Trump. Everybody's a racist in the world except Big Pharma. Oh boy, they love you. They'll never do anything to harm your children. 404-872-0750. Absolutely laughable. The advisors to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention voted 8-3 Friday today to recommend that a mother without hepatitis B should consult with her doctor, and if she decides to vaccinate against the HEP B virus, delay the first dose from the first day of life to 2 months. That's all they did. and the whole world is coming to an end. It's a Shelley Winter Show. 404-872-0750. 1-800-WSB-TALK.